Oh, Jeff, we have cool people on the show every now and then, and I would like to tell you there are people in the studio watching to see you and me, but they're not here to see you and me. They're here to see Maggie, a Humboldt penguin. If you don't know this, the Kansas City Zoo plays a key role in protecting this species, Humboldt penguins. I'm here with Susana Cardenas-Eleza, here from Punta San Juan, Peru. She's the director of the Humboldt Penguin Conservation Program down there. Susana, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Maggie's actually a resident of the Kansas City Zoo, so she's joining us from the zoo. Tell me first, what makes a Humboldt penguin? What's different about this species compared to other penguins?
Well, they're amazing. I mean, when we look at a penguin, I think we always think of ice.
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
We think of cold places. Penguins come from the south, so penguins and polar bears have never met in the wild.
Right.
Polar bears from the north, penguins from the south. But in Peru, along with Galapagos, that's another place in the world where temperatures can get very warm, but the water where they're feeding is cold. Mm-hmm. So Humboldt penguins are natural. They live in the Humboldt Current, cold waters, and they have the ability to withstand very high temperatures. So in Peru, where I'm from, and Punta San Juan gets very hot, very hot. So they're in the desert. See in the picture, it's very dry.
In the desert, really? Look at that.
Yeah, it's a very, very dry habitat on land, but the water is very cold, and they're there because there's a lot of fish for them to feed off.
Sure. So this is, we mentioned this is Maggie. Rachel's here from the zoo, kind of trying to corral Maggie as best we can. She was wandering around our studio before this started. She's been at the zoo for at least about 3 years, Rachel tells us. She's about 5 years old, 5.5 years old. Tell me in what you do down there as far as the conservation programs, what the work consists of with these penguins.
Sure. So we have a research station down on the peninsula in Punta San Juan, where we have staff year-round that are conducting counts on the penguins and also on fur seals and other seabirds.
Because it's an important spot in the world for these penguins.
Yes, exactly. This is the place with the largest colony of Humboldt penguins for Peru.
Yeah.
And second place, there's also a large colony in Chile, so probably the second most important in the world.
Really?
About 5,000 penguins, a very important breeding population for this species. That
I'm paying attention to you. I'm just looking
no worries. Go ahead. I know she'll steal the show. So it's a very important breeding site for this species, and there's also a lot of work looking at the breeding success each year according to how oceanographic conditions change, and making sure that they have a safe spot on land for when they're breeding, resting, and taking care of their chicks.
So tell me how the Kansas City Zoo takes part in this, because they're one of several zoos that works to help these penguins with you down there.
Yeah, our work wouldn't be possible without the contributions and also the help from the zoos from the U.S.
Yeah.
And this, as part of this consortium, it helps us it's basically the operations done in the field. So we need to do health assessments on the animals to understand how their health is doing. We need to have people looking at how their condition, the body weight, if it's changing, if they're okay.
Yeah.
And also when it comes down to, for example, a guano harvest. In Peru, guano, which is bird poo, gets harvested or mined to be given away, sold or given away as fertilizer. So penguins actually burrow in the guano. That's their preferred nesting habitat.
Okay.
So they make holes and burrow in that guano, and we make sure that during these harvests, all the penguin habitat is kept safe. So this is how actually the whole partnership with the zoos started. Zoos have helped us not only have people on the ground, on the site to make sure that the penguins are okay on a day-to-day basis, but also to work with Peruvian government and local institutions so that, the harvest and all the human activity does not affect the habitat that these guys need to be okay in the wild.
Perfect.
So it's great, yeah.
Rachel, ballpark, how many Humboldt penguins are at the zoo right now? Do you know how many? 19 Humboldt. So next time you go to the zoo, if you haven't been to the Kansas City Zoo in some time, please go. It's fantastic to take a family, and they have an entire section there where you can go and see the penguins, see Maggie and the 18 other Humboldt penguins and several other breeds of penguins as well. Susana, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for telling us about the mission done in Peru. Rachel, thank you for corralling. Maggie, I thank you, but you don't even care what I'm doing right now. Maggie could not be less interested in what I have to say. We'll be right back.